Oh my God, why are you not? Why are you not using my camera? Okay, so that works. Let's see if this works. So I think I figured it out. Good deal. I don't know, it doesn't seem like it has any sound. So what if this?
I think she's in danger, whatever the circumstances. He was in jail for capital murder, and he has nothing to lose.
Breaking news, the continued search for a missing sheriff's deputy out of Lauderdale County, along with an inmate. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Sherry Falk. Officials say Assistant Director of Corrections Vicki White was taking Casey White to a mental health evaluation, but the pair never arrived at the courthouse and no evaluation was ever scheduled. They did. Casey White was facing capital murder charges. Investigators say they are exploring all angles at this point.
Did she assist him in escaping? That's obviously a possibility. So we're looking into that as one angle of the investigation. Was she kidnapped en route to the courthouse and taken against her will? That's obviously another angle we're looking at.
Again, officials are searching for this deputy on the left, Vicki White, also the man on the right, Casey White. They do believe that she is in danger.
This was the most current update on it.
Warrant issued for Alabama corrections officer on charges of permitting or facilitating escape of missing inmate. By Elizabeth Wolf, Nadia Romero, Maria Cartaya, and Teresa Waldrop, CNN. May 2nd, 2022, updated 1 hour ago. 2. 1 of 2. A warrant has been issued for Vicki White, Assistant Director of Corrections for Lauderdale County, on charges of permitting or facilitating escape in the first degree, Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton said. Vicki White, an Assistant Director of Corrections for the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office, was last seen Friday when she said she was taking inmate Casey White, who was being held on murder charges, for a mental health evaluation at the county courthouse. No evaluation or hearing was scheduled for the inmate that day, authorities later found. Officials have obtained video showing the patrol car Vicki White and inmate Casey White took from the jail Friday morning. According to the timestamp on the video, it shows the patrol car just 8 minutes after it left the jail. What that tells us is that the patrol car left the detention center and went straight to the parking lot where it was abandoned and later found by officials, the sheriff said. There was not enough time for them to even attempt to try to come to the courthouse. It now looks likely Vicki White acted of her own free will, the sheriff said. If she did this willingly, and all indications are that she did, Singleton told CNN's Ryan Young. I guess we're trying to hold on to that last straw of hope that maybe for some reason she was threatened and did this under coercion. But absolutely you'd feel betrayed, Singleton said Monday. All of her co-workers are devastated. We've never had any situation like this with Vicki White. She was a model employee, Singleton told Young. Shortly before her disappearance, Vicki White said she had also planned to get medical care because she wasn't feeling well, Singleton said. But she never arrived. Video security footage in the area where the patrol vehicle was found didn't turn up any evidence showing what happened to the two, the sheriff said. We're still aggressively pursuing every lead that we get, he said. The biggest obstacle we have right now is we still do not have a vehicle description for whatever vehicle they may have transferred into. No evidence of a romantic relationship, but it's a possibility. Vicki White was known as an exemplary employee with an unblemished record, the sheriff said. All of her co-workers, all the employees in the sheriff's office, the judges, all have the utmost respect for her, Singleton said. Vicki White is a widow with no children, and her mother and 2 brothers live in Lauderdale County, according to the sheriff. After about 2 decades with the department, Vicki White submitted her retirement papers last week, the sheriff said. Friday was supposed to be her last day at work, Singleton said Monday. She had talked about retiring for 3 or 4 months before Friday's incident and thought about moving to the beach, the sheriff said. Despite her stellar professional reputation, Vicki White violated protocol Friday when she removed Casey White from the detention center by herself, the sheriff said. The policy required Casey White to be escorted by 2 sworn deputies. All precautions were in place, Singleton said. The questions we have for Director White is why she violated policy. The sheriff said there's no clear evidence as to whether Vicki White and Casey White had a personal relationship. the county's assistant director of corrections, Vicky White was frequently throughout the cell blocks, has contact with all the inmates at one time or another, Singleton said. But as far as a romantic relationship or something like that, we have no evidence or
This was a CNN. Hello. Is you going to join us? Your computer? We already looked at that one. We wanted to hear what MSN had to say. Okay. So frustrating. Well, like I said, let's do some active cases. So this is an old case. JonBenet Ramsey's father calls for a case to be taken away from local police in bid to solve 25-year mystery. There she is, little Miss JonBenet. Will it read this to us?
JonBenet Ramsey's father calls for case to be taken away from local police in bid to solve 25-year mystery. Rachel Sharp. Sunday, May 1st, 2022, 5:14 p.m. 5-minute read. JonBenet Ramsey was found dead at her family's home in Boulder, Colorado, on December 26, 1996, SEPA/Shutterstock. The father of JonBenet Ramsey has called for his daughter's case to be taken out of the hands of the local police department and given to an independent agency that can use advanced DNA testing to try to solve the 25-year-old cold case. John Ramsey launched a petition asking Colorado Governor Jared Polis to step in and give DNA testing decisions to an independent agency that is free from Boulder Police Department's significant history with the case.
Sorry, it's freezing and shit, but at least it's working. For the most part, I guess. Unless we're going to hang out here on case. Those of you that don't mind hanging out here with me, get my sandwich together here while we wait to see if this is gonna start reacting. And apparently not. So in the petition, Mr. Ramsey said advances in the DNA testing means investigators could finally crack the notorious unsolved Boxing Day murder of child beauty pageant. Consistent can bring some justice to her and her family, but instead of using the available technology, his daughter's murder investigation has been plagued with false investigative starts, wild conspiracy theories, and a seemingly infinite number of accusations against nearly everyone involved in this case. It reads, JonBenet Ramsey deserves justice, and new advances in technology finally make that possible. The petition reads, Colorado Government Jared Polis, you are the only person with enough power in the independent state to put Ramsey's DNA testing in the hands of a new agency. That's the Freedom of Boulder's significant history of the case. The governor's office said in the statement to CBS News that it is renewing the request to determine how the state can assist in a new technology to identify JonBenet Ramsey's killer and bring her to justice. Him or her to justice. JonBenet was 6 years old when she was found murdered in the basement of her family's home in an affluent neighborhood in Boulder, Colorado on December 26, 1996. Her mother, Patsy Ramsey, had called 911 that morning reporting their daughter had been kidnapped and a ransom note had been left behind. The handwritten note warning the parents to not alert authorities demanded over $118,000 in exchange for the safe return of their daughter. A few hours later, JonBenet's body was found under a blanket in the basement. Her father and police officers as they searched the home. Now, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to say if you guys want to look into this case, it's really interesting. Her body was found in the basement under a blanket, but it was also found feet from where a picture was taken by law enforcement. Behind a door that was never opened. Just putting it out there. A nylon cord was tied around her neck. Her wrists were bound with duct tape and had been placed over her mouth. There was also some signs that had been sexually assaulted. An autopsy revealed the 6-year-old died of strangulation and also suffered a blow to the head, fracturing her skull. For years, JonBenet's parents were prime suspects in her killing. Suspicion fell on them as they emerged, and a lengthy note had been written to the paper in the home of $118,000, matched the exact amount. Mr. Ramsey had been given a Christmas bonus from his jobs, and his parents stopped cooperating with police information. This is crazy, so I hope they do. I hope they're able to bring this baby some justice. That's insane. Is there a video on it? Let's see. I doubt it. No. Okay, so I said let's look at some active cases. So what can we find to look at today? Days ago. Okay, so this is a Florida prison guard charged with the murder of an inmate beating.
We continue following a developing story out of Miami-Dade. That's where a South Florida prison officer charged in connection with the deadly beating of an inmate remains at large. 3 other officers were taken into custody this afternoon. Ronald Connor, Christopher Rolong, and Kirk Walton are accused of beating a handcuffed 60-year-old man inside Dade Correctional Institution in February. We're told it happened when the inmate threw a cup of urine at one of the officers while inside his cell in the mental health unit. That inmate, Ronald Gene Ingram, was then taken outside his cell, placed in handcuffs, and beaten outside of the view of surveillance cameras. He was apparently beaten so badly that he had to be carried to the transport van where he was placed by himself. When the van made a stop in Ocala hours later, Ingram was found dead. Officials plan to give us more details at a news conference tomorrow afternoon, and CBS 4 will be there and will bring you the latest. Meantime, the Florida Department of Corrections has released a statement saying, quote, "What happened in this case is completely unacceptable and is not a representation of our system or of Dade Correctional Institution. The staff involved in this case failed, and as an agency, we will not stand for this." The search is on for a South Florida prison officer charged in connection with the deadly beating of an inmate. 3 other officers are already in custody. CBS 4's Nicole Lauren is live in the studio with more on this story. Nicole, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Maribel. The 3 other officers were taken into custody on Thursday afternoon. Their names, Ronald Connor, Christopher Rowland, and Kirk Walton, accused of beating a handcuffed 60-year-old man inside of Dade Correctional Institution. This happening back in February. Now, we're told it happened when the inmate threw a cup of urine at one of the officers while he was inside of his cell in the mental health unit. That inmate, Ronald Gene Ingram, was then taken outside of his cell, placed in handcuffs, and beaten outside of the view of surveillance cameras. He was apparently beaten so badly he had to be carried to the transport van where he was placed in there by himself. When the van made a stop in Ocala hours later, Ingram was found dead. Officials do plan to give us more information at a news conference later this afternoon. CBS 4 will be there and will bring you the latest details, but the Florida Department of Corrections also releasing a statement saying what happened in this case is completely unacceptable and it's not a representation of our system or of Dade Correctional Institution. The staff involved in this case failed, and as an agency, we will not stand for this. Live in studio, Nicole Lauren, CBS 4 this morning.
Developing news out of Florida tonight. 3 Miami-Dade correctional officers charged in the beating death of an inmate in court today, ordered held without bond. The inmate was found dead in a van, will be transferred to another facility. And tonight there is newly released surveillance video. Here's ABC's Elman Lopez.
Tonight, disturbing new surveillance video shows the moments before prosecutors say a South Florida inmate was beaten to death by several corrections officers. That inmate, Ronald Gene Ingram, seen walking on his own, escorted by guards inside Dade Correctional Facility. But then exterior cameras show officers carrying him into a transport van, legs dragging and head slumped. It wasn't until that transport van made a stop that they found the inmate dead.
His numerous broken ribs had a punctured right lung that caused extensive internal bleeding, resulting in his death.
Today, a judge has denied bond to Christopher Rowland, Kirk Walton, and Ronald Connor. Those officers now facing murder charges. Officials say the February incident began when Ingram allegedly threw urine at one of the officers. He was serving life in prison for murder and set to be transferred to another facility.
Regardless of the crime, inmates that come in our system have a right to do their time free from victimization and abuse, and we failed in this case.
And when a 4th correctional officer was also arrested today, he is also facing murder charges related to that inmate's death, and another bond hearing will be held in May.
Okay, Elman, thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage,
That's crazy. All right, let's see if we can't find just some true crime stuffies to look at.
The television news industry has understandably been stunned at these murders. Reporters and photographers know that there are risks associated with the job, but of course this was something totally out of the blue. And 10 News reporter Steve Fiorina is live. And Steve, you're well aware that you could be a target.
No question, Kim. News crews often set up in the dark, sketchy neighborhoods, but you could be in the daylight in Balboa Park. Strange things can happen. Someone with an agenda coming right at you. Reporter Allison Parker and photographer Adam Ward were doing a live interview for a feature story about a celebration at a Virginia lake. far from a war zone, but it became a killing zone.
When you hear about or you think about a news reporter being gunned down in the line of duty, you think to yourself, well, they must be in some other part of the world to be in that kind of danger.
They were shot down by a former co-worker with a grudge, a man who'd been on air, trusted by the television audience.
We invite news anchors into our homes at night. They're a part of our family. So I can imagine in that community, there's an awful lot of disappointment and really just gut-wrenching, really terror, if you will, that this man, who so many people probably enjoyed watching on the news, was capable of this.
Patrick, who's also a prosecutor, said there were warning signs. Williams bought his gun 2 days after the Charleston church shootings in June, when 9 people were massacred. Classic copycat killing.
That kind of thing sometimes can be a trigger. And we know that's true in this case because that's what it says in the manifesto that this man saw. In fact, that was one of the things he said actually drove him over the edge to make the decision to engage in this morning's senseless carnage.
Completely senseless and coming 2 years after the fire. I'm a double Steve.
So much tragedy. Thank you, Steve. And fellow journalists are using social media to show their support. Some are changing their Facebook profile pictures to show color bars. Those color bars are an appropriate symbol of warning in the TV news industry. When a live shot fails or a signal is lost, color bars are usually all that is left.
Well, let us begin the top story over to the United States. In the state of Virginia, 2 journalists have been shot dead during a live broadcast. The news was announced by TV station WTBJ7, from who they worked. U.S. media says 24-year-old reporter Allison Parker and 27-year-old photographer Adam Ward were killed early in the morning during the live interview. Police say the suspect is at large and that his motive is unclear, and we will certainly keep you updated as more information.
No, I don't want COVID cases, unsolved murders. There's a 15-year-old. See, look at this.
Where do you want to stay in the beginning? I don't know. We'll just start. Make up something.
Laura Lee, what's your birthday?
June 21st, 1978. Hi, Ty.
How do you feel when somebody sticks a camera in your face?
Laura Lee Spear is described as a friendly, well-liked, and active teenager. She was just walking home from her bus stop when she was apparently abducted in the middle of the afternoon.
It still hurts. Every day, not a day goes by that I don't think about her. I always wonder what she would think of Christmas or Thanksgiving, her birthday. I always wonder where she'll be at. If things were different, if somebody had just left her alone that day and let her live. What life would be like with her here. I'm sure it would have been a lot happier.
She would always come home after school. At home would be her mom, Barbara. But that day.
So what do you think? She's a quarter mile from the house, a little more than a quarter mile?
Yes. A block.
A block.
Yeah, block.
Yeah.
As she walked home, Laura Lee met the face of evil.
I think for all of us that pin a badge on in the morning and take it off at night, there are some murders like this where a 15-year-old so close to her home. I think for generations of deputies in the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, everybody wants to see this case closed.
I can only beg. And I hate to say that. But if you know something, please just come forward. Just tell something. Even if you think it's the most useless piece of information, just speak up. One little thing can make a world of difference, can bring peace to Laura Lee, can bring us hope and closure.
The time to tell the truth is now. We can put together 99 pieces of a 100-piece puzzle, but someone who's out there has that last piece. So we ask, if you know anything, please let us know.
Here's another cold case. Jane Doe, 1991, can finally be recognized by her name. Doris Regina Chavers. I always love these when they find these people. Find out who they are. That way, you know, it brings closure for the family. Oh, wow, look at these. 2009, 2005. These are all unsolved homicides. Wish that you could click on these. I'm going to save this page though, because we may dive into those cases. Finance. And that was the Fort Lauderdale chick. Oh, I forgot all about Crown Watch. Yeah, this is a good one to see some cases on. Suspect in custody. All the pop-ups, man. Ugh. So, DeLand Police Department. Looks like they arrested him. Looks like this is still an active case. Elderly DeLand resident victim of online scam. Let's throw this in the chat. I haven't even seen this missing case. The DeLand Police Department is seeking the public's help in locating 16-year-old Chloe Schlitzer, who has been missing since January 7, 2022. She was last seen at DeLand High School and may be traveling to Jacksonville area with an unknown boyfriend. So she's been considered a runaway, that's why. Can we share her? You guys, if you're not subscribed to Darkness, go over and hit her up. Her channel is awesome. The sad part is the reason we probably haven't seen her is because she's being considered a runaway. So we'll tweet her, throw her out there on the Facebooks. Sorry if I get quiet. I don't think anybody's in here anyway. Just trying to get some live time down now, especially since I've figured out how to do it. It's kind of nice. Sharing these cases, and I know that these are old cases, but they're not really that old. 2 years is not that long. Especially if you guys follow the true crime community. You see the autistic child that was found and brought home, freezing, sitting outside of a gas station. Okay, so I thought about like going over some of my videos. Set up playlists. I think it worked pretty cool. So we can take a look at this video. It's kind of long. Go through the whole thing. Teams continuing to search. This was the searches, and then some still shots. This was when I first started creating, just to kind of bring my own opinion to these cases. Okay, so I do want to point something out. So this, where I said the Wells Bly family have hired lawyers now, that was miscommunication on my part, and that was, I believe, from where I did hear they had lawyers, but I think it was from where the boys in their CPS case, or DCS, or wherever you're at. And then this, I just wanted to show that that's a searcher there, just to show the terrain. And we're still waiting on details. Still haven't heard anything. Not anything that amounts to anything. It's crazy. So this one's more along the lines of when I got into doing the video.
Okay, guys, so what we know as of 3/2/2022, Summer Moon Utah Wells is still missing. Last seen on Ben Hill Road at home, age 5. The time she was seen, since then she has had a birthday. She is now age 6. Excuse me. The first search, Amber Alert, was issued. The second search was in November, which would be fall season. Was a search due to terrain, the weather, something along those lines caused them to go back out in November? A new tip? We don't know. The third search that was not reported to the mother. New details or tips, foliage different due to weather, winter, recent flooding in the area. Law enforcement stated it was a planned search. However, like I said, the mother was not informed.
And of course, you can hear him snoring in the background, so sorry.
We do know that canines have picked up a scent down the dog trail. One of the confirmed searches. However, no more information has been released on the searches that the TBI, FBI, and Hawkins County has been part of. Other information that we do know is the mother still lives on the Wells property. The father is incarcerated. It's unrelated reasons. 2 summers missing. The siblings were removed from the home, placed into foster care. Also, Summer has siblings that are out of state. No new details have been released. No persons have been held accountable. This is what bothers me. Their siblings have been removed from the home. We have a 6-year-old that is still missing, an unaccounted for, endangered person. And no one's being held accountable for this missing child. No neglect charges. However, CPS has been involved and children have been removed from the home. Myself, my opinion, I don't understand that or agree with it. On another note, this child just vanished from the home with 3 siblings, 2 adults without a trace, no witnesses. Only a neighbor that stated her and her oldest son heard a scream, allegedly. However, law enforcement has deemed this person to be not a reliable source for information. She is known on social media as JS. Out of respect, I will not use her full name. We also know that Summer's father, Don Wells, was unaware of there even being a trail that leads to the end of the driveway where the dog supposedly sent in, which led to footprints of Summer, allegedly. Evidence as far as the public has been informed, there is none. Not a trace of a 5-year-old in daylight in a neighborhood full of people. Also, the Wells had up to 15 to 20 dogs on the property. The number has varied due to a lot of puppies that had been born in different litters. No sound was made from a abductor or the dogs. In my personal opinion, I do find that to be not plausible. We ask, how is this possible? I don't see how it's possible or plausible. The YouTube and true crime social media world and community has made this child the world's daughter. Hoping to continue pressure on law enforcement, we'll help this child not slip through the cracks of the system like so many other children have. My hat does go off to the keyboard warriors for keeping Summer Wells in our hearts and minds. I try myself personally every day to share Summer, to share her face, her case, her missing poster, something about her every day to make sure that she does stay in social media. She does stay in our eyes, our thoughts, our minds. Summer, Utah, Wells. Where is this child? How did she disappear with no one seeing her leave the property on Ben Hill Road? My wonderings, my questions, just a few of these. Why was locals told to search their own property? Some of these locals have extensive criminal backgrounds. Why has law enforcement not put pressure on the mother and the grandmother? And this is not to place blame on either of them, and I do have respect for them having a missing child in their family. It is very painful to not have a child in your life. these are the last people to see Summer that are over the age of 18. That is what bothers me about this. Why is that it's been shown to be held accountable that these people are the last people to have contact with this child. Another question inside me, has the inside of the church been searched? Has everyone questioned? This is where she was happiest. These are people that would know Summer and her happy points of her life, since she enjoyed the attention of the church. She enjoyed Miss Robin. She enjoyed being there. I'm sure she enjoyed the atmosphere of the positivity of church. Considering we have seen videos and heard audio and heard witness statements of how her home life may have allegedly possibly have been. Due to the background of local law enforcement, family and shits, why have outside authorities not been brought in? And I'm not speaking of the TBI or the FBI. I mean local PD from outside counties, even possibly an outside state, that will have no bias to the family of Summer or to local law enforcement. That's what I would like to know. In cases we change jurisdiction for judges, we pick jurors from outside. So in this case, with law enforcement being so close to people and having family in the neighborhood, why are we not looking at outside sources? Why is this not being released to the public? Since law enforcement has extensively stated that the true crime community is causing errors in their investigation. However, it does seem like we are doing a lot to keep her in the limelight. I myself personally am not trying to cause any kind of issues with their investigation. I would like to see Miss Summer brought home to Tennessee in a well manner, alive, and have a celebration and have everyone come together and celebrate the fact that we did successfully bring this child home and solve this case together as a community. I did find something interesting in the 10 signs of deception.
Because I don't normally restream other people's shit, and I'm not going to restream her. I'll put her channel in the comments, but I just ran across this and I really want to listen to it, so let's watch it together.
It's not her. It is definitely her. And she did give both of us permission. Okay, I'm going to play this again. Rebecca and Susan Ross are my friends. And they're going to speak for me because it's only right that everybody knows that these people are scamming me, scamming for money. And it's just not right. People are going to be spending their money and putting posts out there, whatever they want to talk about, but we've been friends for going on 10 months.
What was that?
There's no questions and no one saying it's not her. It is definitely her. And she did give both of us permission. Okay, I'm going to play this again. Rebecca and Susan Ross are my friends. And they're going to speak for me because it's only right that everybody knows that these people are scamming me, scamming for money. And it's just not right. People are going to be spending their money and putting posts out there, whatever they want to talk about, but we've been friends for going on 10 months.
I don't know what the hell that was, but I do want to show something real quick, just for everybody that's grabbing this. And I don't mind people grabbing stuff, and if it didn't come from here, then that's cool too. Just, I want you guys to have an understanding of what this is. This is my intro video. Again, welcome to my rabbit hole, true crime and chill. Not for sale, that's for human trafficking. Alice has been my girl since way back. Okay, guys, this is an autistic meme that was on my Facebook years and years ago for my sister that's autistic. It says, "Don't judge what you don't understand." And the puzzle pieces are for autism. So I just want to make sure that people understand that this is not anything to be construed as anything other than an autism awareness.
As always, guys, I do appreciate you guys for listening, watching. Subscribe, like, and share. Make sure if you see something, you say something. Always watch, listen, and speak. Be a voice. Join the army for the voices. And remember, it takes a village to raise a child.
And one who makes you score, and the ones chasing
So we'll go back to what we were doing. But that is a cool video to check out. Sorry guys, I got sidetracked. So back to my videos. Okay, this is Autumn McClure. This is a missing case from Florida that has links. Guys, check this video out. It's a good listen. Yeah, like this I have an issue with because it says that a friend dropped Autumn McClure off at Daytona Beach area shopping mall. But if you look at her posters, it says Ormond. Okay, this is Autumn McClure, missing from Volusia County, Florida. Allegedly was dropped off an unnamed friend and never seen again, allegedly at night. She has a twin brother that has requested to respect his privacy, and I can't help but wonder if he's willing to help. Hashtag bring me home. Being for Autumn. There are not many details on this case, as it breaks my heart that she has vanished and was put on I-4 for 10 days on a billboard. She has a family still in Florida and a grandmother that's still here with us.
Autumn Lane McClure, date of last contact May 10th, 2004, missing from Ormond Beach, Florida. As we know, Volusia Mall is not located in Ormond, it's in Daytona Beach, so this is what I find as a red flag in this case. Did she vanish from the mall or from Ormond Beach? Missing, age 18 years, current age would be 34 years old, first name, Autumn, middle name, Lane, last name, McClure. At time of last seen, this was her name. It may have been changed. She is female. Her height may vary due to time period. However, at the time of last seen, 5 feet 0 inches, 5 feet 5 inches, 60 to 65 inches, weight 115 to 120 pounds. At the time last seen, ethnicity white Caucasian, date of last contact May 10th, 2004. Namas case created February 7th, 2011. Last known location map, location Ormond Beach, Florida 32174 County, Volusia County. Circumstances of disappearance, Autumn was last seen on May 10th, 2004. She has not been seen or heard from since. Physical description: hair color blonde, strawberry, left eye color green. Autumn does have a distinctive physical feature. She has a scar mark, birthmark on right forearm, red in color. Clothing and accessories: no details I could find online. I will continue to try to find a news report or picture of the billboard sign from Interstate 4 that was up for only 10 days. What is even more disheartening is the lack of attention her case received initially. Many of her classmates were not even aware of her disappearance until they seen the missing persons billboard on I-4, 10 years later. Social media was still in its infancy, but I don't understand why there were no flyers posted at school, no announcements, no rumors circling the mill. Nothing. How might the investigation have changed if they created more awareness at the time? These are words of Care Bear. She went to school with Autumn. I felt it important to include her statements in this awareness video. This is a prime example of how our children are not put as a priority in politics. This child allegedly begged for any family to adopt her. She was unhappy in the home she was living in. I also found this important to add to the details I was able to find. Again, the words of Care Bear. On a side note, I personally don't think the likeness fits her as I would picture her at this age. The age-progressed image actually looks exactly like another girl that went to school with us. The first thought that came to my mind is that the other girl, who it actually looks identical to, will be mistaken for Autumn in possible sightings.
Creepy. You guys should take a look at who she's kin to. It's pretty interesting. Where all of our good, like, true crime stuff. So if you're in Florida and you've seen any of these guys here, they're unregistered sex offenders. Or if you're not in Florida and you see any of these guys, Still nothing. It's crazy. And see, these kill me. It says Dawn's ex-wife speaks, but no, she doesn't. She gave a statement.
Summer Wells, the 5-year-old Tennessee girl who vanished from her family's home in June, has now been gone for more than 5 weeks. Pamela Wells, the ex-wife of Summer Wells' father, the mother of her 2 half-siblings, Dawn Wells III and Margie Ward, told Fox News Thursday that her side of the family is praying for the girl's safe return.
All right, let's talk about this because I don't want to stream somebody else's content.
News Channel 11.
Breaking news at 6, day 9 in the search for 5-year-old Summer Wells, and investigators say they are heartbroken and extremely frustrated as the case is taking longer than usual to resolve. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Sarah Dye.
I'm Josh Smith. Take a look at some new photos of Summer Wells that we obtained today. Summer's mother shared these with us. In a news briefing late this afternoon, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said the search for Summer is, quote, definitely outside the norm when it comes to the standard amount of time for a missing persons case like this.
Typically, in an investigation like this one, we have some idea of where the case is headed and what might have happened within a few days. In this situation, despite doing everything within our power and exploring all avenues, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear.
News Channel 11's John Janko is at today's news briefing. John, are investigators hopeful at this point that they will find Summer?
Sarah and Josh, while search teams and investigators are physically and mentally exhausted.
So this was June 25th. That's why I felt like it was important to run this, because this was still when this was still fresh in everybody's eyes.
I can't tell you that they all remain hopeful.
We hope so, but honestly, we just don't know. I mean, we're holding out hope, doing everything we can. Obviously, we typically would have found a child at this stage in the investigation. So honestly, we just don't know.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson again made a plea to those who live in Beech Creek, Sullivan, and Hawkins counties to check and recheck their security or trail cam footage. In the desperate search for Summer Wells, he also had another request.
General public that lives in this area, go back and search their outbuildings, their barns, their hay fields. That's mowing season, so when they mow, they need to pay attention. If you have a resident that cannot search their property themselves, they'll call my office, 423-272-4848. I will send an officer to your residence to search your property for you.
106 agencies are participating in the search for Summer Wells. You're looking at new video the TBI released this afternoon of crews conducting line searches in the Beech Creek area near where Summer was last seen. The TBI says the purpose of these searches is to ensure every inch of ground has been covered. They've covered about 4.6 square miles of terrain so far. That's about 3,000 acres. Captain Tim Coop of the Church Hill Rescue Squad says they've covered multiple ground multiple times. He said different eyes in different search teams may discover something someone else didn't notice. Live in the Beech Creek community, John Janko, News Channel 11.
John, thank you very much. Saying that they will not quit until she found. Teams continue today to search for 5-year-old Summer Wells, the Hawkins County girl at the center of a Tennessee Amber Alert. 10 days have passed.
Okay, so let's listen to Dawn.
A week ago tonight, News Channel 11 broke the news that crews are searching for a missing 5-year-old girl out of Hawkins County. Tonight, the search for Summer Wells enters its second week. Good evening, I'm Sarah Diamond.
I'm Josh Smith. Investigators now say they will continue the Amber Alert search, but starting tomorrow, they'll have a focus on specific areas using specialized teams. That area in Hawkins County, in and around the place that Summer Wells calls home. It's off Ben Hill Road. Also tonight, we learned Candace Bly, Summer Wells' mother, has passed a polygraph test that was administered today. That information coming from Summer's.
Okay, so I want to point this out. You see the layout, you see the roads, but for those of you that follow the case, you see a road missing. And not only that, there was your Candace Bly passed the inadmissible in court polygraph.
Father Don Wells. He talked with Ansley Daniel tonight and answered questions about his previous run-ins with the law.
This road here in Hawkins County was where Summer Wells was last seen 1 week ago. It's also where her father, Donald Wells, was arrested back in October over a domestic assault incident. That incident led to her mother filing an order of protection against him the following day. Tonight, Summer's father tells us that he and his wife have put that incident behind them, and all they want is for their daughter to come home safe.
That's all we can hope for is for God to produce a miracle for all the Christian folks around here, because there's so many people praying.
Authorities say Summer Wells' parents have cooperated during the investigation, but according to Hawkins County court documents, this is not the first time officers were dispatched to the home on Ben Hill Road. They were there on October 14th for a domestic assault. Summer's mom, Candace Bly, told officers Donald Wells came home drunk and saw someone else in the house and believed that Bly was cheating on him.
I was in Utah, so she was thinking one thing and I was thinking another, but once we got to talk and figure things out, we smoothed it all out. I mean, it's just we weren't on the same page, a lack of communication.
The following day, Bly filed an order of protection against Wells. In the order, she says Wells drinks and throws things and that he was mentally and physically abusive. She said, quote, "I am afraid for my children and myself."
Because we were fighting, of course, people are going to tell the police whatever to get their way. We worked it out. She's apologized to me.
4 days later, Bly asked for the charges to be dismissed. Wells pleaded guilty to possession of a handgun while under the influence and turned the weapon over to the sheriff's office. The domestic assault charges and unlawful possession of a handgun were dismissed.
She went to the district attorneys. She even talked to the judge and told him that she made a serious mistake, and that's the end of it. She didn't get hurt, and I never hurt nobody.
After a full week of searching and still no sign of his little girl, Wells cherishes the last time he saw her.
The night before, she asked me to hold her hand where she can twirl. She loved to do that, and that's the last time I really got to spend time with her.
As of now, no one has been named as a person of interest, and it's still unclear about what happened to the little girl. But her father and authorities say they aren't stopping until Summer comes home. In the Beach Creek community, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
So as this first week of searching wraps up tonight, let's get you caught up on the very latest. The TBI says last week they've received more than 220 tips, working with more than 88.
Okay. So you guys heard that Don said he wasn't going to stop until his daughter was found, and yet he stopped EquuSearch and raised hell about people coming to help look for his daughter. So and we'll take a look at this.
5-year-old Summer Wells was first reported missing in Hawkins County. The that search has scaled back and investigators still don't know what happened. Caleb Parent reports the case is getting widespread attention on the internet, and in some ways it's making things worse.
This case seems to be getting more confusing by the hour with the posts that are happening in the Facebook groups, new details that are emerging about family history.
Dozens of Facebook groups are sharing rumors and even conspiracies about what could have happened to Summer on YouTube and
Okay, so I stopped to let you guys know that was 10 to Life. She is an amazing creator. If you're not subbed to her channel, go sub up.
never-ending stream of videos, many profiting from the views.
I've been doing my own investigations a little bit too. I got some information about a red truck, and I didn't say anything about it because I didn't know it was pertinent or not.
Some even accusing the family and taking home videos, which we've learned here.
Something nefarious on the agenda, or was this an accident?
There are even psychic readings.
She just vanished, and then I come home and my dog just vanished. She's never vanished in 3 years, and for 3 nights I've had dreams. I feel she transferred in 2 cars.
Investigators say people are reporting the rumors as tips, and it's not helping.
That just bogs law enforcement down by having us, we have to go through and check that information and then mark it off.
Fellow church member David Dodson says it's taking a toll on the family too. It's hard not only on the mother and father, but you're looking at 3 little boys too that are also hearing it and seeing it, and it's just, people forget the human factor. There is some good though. Online prayer groups have also formed around Summer. They are really needed, all the support they can get at this time. As you can say, the family is just completely devastated. A nightmare with no end in sight.
The TBI is still asking for tips in this case. If you know anything that could help them, contact them on the number of your screen or also call 911.
But when you deal with an innocence of a child, it just stays with you. You just can't get away from it.
Today marks 3 weeks since 5-year-old Summer Wells' parents first reported her missing. The statewide Amber Alert has been in place ever since.
And now agents say they are not giving up their search. She's not been seen since June 15th. Wells' parents say the last time they saw her was when she went to the basement to play with her toys. In an interview, Wells' father said he believes she was kidnapped.
Tonight, reporter Amelia Young spoke to an expert who explains how hard crews work to bring missing kids home.
Law enforcement has a difficult task at hand. According to former Knoxville Police Chief Phil Keith, Summer Wells disappearing from Hawkins County comes with a lot of difficulties, including rough terrain and weather.
I've been involved in searches all over the country, and it does make a difference. The terrain definitely makes a difference.
Keith is all too familiar with searches for missing children after running the National Amber Alert program for a decade. He says those involved, more than 80 agencies, are feeling a huge impact.
People don't realize the toll it takes in conducting these searches. These are not like do a casual walk for a block. You're engaged for hours upon hours upon hours.
Not only physically, but mentally too.
It wears them. They take that home eventually. If they have children, it's very impactful.
3 weeks later, the TBI has no new information, but Keith assures crews are working around the clock.
They'll run down each trail and they'll keep pursuing it. They'll be vigilant about it.
The smallest piece of information could be a breakthrough in the case.
It's up to individuals, adults, to not take a chance. Don't underestimate what one little thread of information might be. It may not be significant to the individual, but it could very well help the TBIs break this case.
Keith, along with the TBI, are urging people who work in the area around the time of Wells' disappearance to call. Reporting in Hawkins County, Amelia Young.
Now, the TBI says it's received more than 700 tips as they continue the search in the Beach Creek area.
And they're reviewing information from credible